New seat, old seat. This is a rear seat out of, I believe it was a 2003 Super Duty. It's a little grody. It's got, I don't know what kind of stuff on there. Saw some videos about cleaning them with a magic eraser and some cleaning solution. I'm going to give that a try, but might as well get brackets figured out and stuff first because it's just going to get dirty laying on the floor. This is the old seat, which was well done. I'm not sure when. This was done by the original owner. Possibly sometime in the mid-90s. I know the Southwest decor thing was pretty big, and I remember my mom having a lot of furniture in the house that looked like this in the 90s. It was well done. It's just not very stylish. This also has a flip down armrest with cup holders. It sits at more of an angle, but that's because of the front brackets. Actually, the way they mounted on the Super Duty floor, they kick the seat up. So it looks like if I make some adapter brackets for the bottom, that seat will set at the same height. So the plan is to take the sliders off of this seat. The mounting spots on this Super Duty seat are a touch wider. As far as here, these brackets totally aren't going to work. 2 nuts through there, zip them off. They come right off, then you're just left with this spacer. I have some 3/16, I believe it is, 3/16 inch steel plate. I will cut out some plates that I will bolt onto these pieces of square tube and weld, most likely. And they will come in a little bit, and then I will bolt Bruce's factory seat tracks right to those adapters. Should set right in. Gonna check the height and stuff first. So, right about mid-butt. 11 1/4 to the middle of that broomstick handle. I'm pretty sure that when I take these off, put these on there, that will be about the same. 11 1/4, 4 inches back from the seat back. Okay, so downhole to mounting hole. I have. So that is 42 inches apart. We're going to need bolt onto there and the track, about 17 inches long. On this one, we have 52 center to center, but I want to go out past just a little bit. Say 54.5 is our outside, because I want the bracket to actually stick out just past the box tubing a little bit because I'll weld it on the outside. So I want about 1/4 inch stick out, so say 54.5 outside to outside. Plates either side, so 8 1/4 by the time it sticks out 6 here, overlaps this, and sticks out on the side just a little bit so that I can weld some stitch welds here, and then I was going to drill through here, bolt, and then also make some little gussets here on the inside because 6 inches, if it was just bolted 3/16 plates, it might be kind of floppy. That's quite a distance to span for something that a couple 100 pounds is going to be sitting on. So I need 2 plates, 8 1/4 by 17. Okay, so what I did is just, instead of, to avoid measuring and drilling twice, I just clamped my two brackets both in the vise. There wasn't quite enough squeeze on the end, they were trying to push apart, so I got a vise grip on either end. Drilled a little pilot hole, and then used a Christmas tree step drill bit. Those are amazing if you don't have them. These are actually several years old, and I probably should get some new ones. Drilled, and that actually chamfers the edge of the hole as well. So, drilled right through both brackets. So, in theory, I'll just hurt myself a little bit here. They should go right on there. It looks pretty similar to where the other one sat. Feels pretty good. Oh! So, 4 inches back, I have 10. So 4 inches back, I have 10. I have 11 1/4, which I think I will try. Because this other seat with the padding they added to it, it sat just a touch high. So, I think that's enough to bolt it in the truck and give it a try. Okay, so the issue I'm having right now is that this does not mount flat on the plate because the linkage right here, I know that's all kind of grody, that's 40 years worth of grodiness that I'll clean up. These are the original seat tracks. Anyway, this needs probably at least 1/8 of an inch or a little more clearance between where it mounts. The seat pan on the old seat has a big, well, it would be this way, but a big dip on it. So so it either needs a relief cut out of the plate here, which is going to weaken it, or spacers welded where the bolt holes are going to go through. They wouldn't have to be welded, but the clamp load from the bolt, if I just put like a nut or washers or something for a spacer, the clamp load for the bolt is only going to be that little place right there, which I guess if you look at the dirt marks, that's all contact area that it had on the old seat. But I'm thinking maybe a couple plates stacked and drilling the hole all the way through all of them is going to be the way to go. Like maybe a couple pieces of this plate actually cut, stacked on each other and welded in both spots. The weld and the plate being welded on there would probably actually stiffen that plate up a little bit, so it might be 2 birds, 1 stone. Not the best welder, but that'll do. I clamp it to the table like that. This is a sturdy, it's like 1/4 inch plate welded to box tubing. This is a workbench that I scored when my old workplace was throwing it out. Anyway, I clamp it to the table with, this is the 3/16 scrap that I'm going to use for braces, just to try to minimize warping so that hopefully those holes still line up when I go to bolt it back on. A lot of times they don't anyway, but we'll deal with that then. Just letting it cool. Not the best welds. I did like a C pattern because there's such a wide gap because it's 2 pieces of metal stacked together, but good enough. I'll clean it all up with the wire brush when I'm done. Nope. Well, it's sitting. Yeah. I think this is pretty good. This is going to be pretty good. Close your door real quick and then.
The camera.
Okay.
Let me move back.
Anything you want to say?
Hooray!
I think this is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
We got to take it out one more time and weld and tighten everything up and then put it back in. Seems pretty good. Pretty goo.
Yep.
Stiffener braces on the back. They're just 2-inch wide, 3/16 strap. Just giving them quick little tack welds, and I'm going to throw it back on the seat and make sure that it clears the bracket. These are about 5.5 inches long. I didn't measure where they're at on the plate or anything. I just kind of eyeballed it. You can see the heat marks. So this is the plate where the seat mounts. I just worried about it, this being so wide between where this mounts and where that mounts, it flexing down. So just 2 stiffeners. I'm going to tack them on and make sure it still fits okay on the seat.
Okay.
So I did it really good. I had just wire wheeled really good before I welded the other side, and I had some pops and cavities in the welds from contamination. So I took a roll lock disc and really ground good. A lot of times you get this metal from the hardware store or whatever, it has a coating on it and it will contaminate your weld. I did get good penetration, she said. You can see which ones. This guy a little bit, that little turd hanging off of that. These holes, that's contamination. I didn't do anything extra on these last 2 welds, but they were clean and good. So anyway, I went above and beyond cleaning on this one, so we'll see how she welds. If you really want to go above and beyond, some rubbing alcohol, you can clean it with something that won't leave any residue. I mean, this is just a bracket that's going under the seat, so big deal. It's going to be way overkill based on the heft of it when you pick it up for a seat bracket anyway. Alright, so bracket's done. Trimmed the edges a little bit and cleaned them up a little bit with a roll lock disc in a die grinder so that they hopefully don't cut open like an artery if you ever bump into them when you're working on something underneath the seat. Still had some contamination in the welds. If I had to do over again, before I tacked these on, I would have totally stripped a very thin layer of metal off to just ensure that there wasn't any kind of coating on them anymore, but oh well. Plenty good enough for what this is, and it is pretty beefy. It's probably overkill with the stiffeners and everything, but oh well. Who doesn't like overkill? I know I do.
Can I hold it on?
Yeah, let's see what's going on there. This is my circle holes that I made there. This also looks like they're lined up pretty good. Now, oh, and we bought, okay, stop. That is good. Take it off. Love it when the planning comes together.
Actually,
Take that socket off.
actually, it was. It was actually 5 plants.
Alright, plan.
Not 20, I think. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, I did cheat a little bit because if you're not cheating, you're not trying. I made that side first and then just pretty much copied what I did on that side to make this side. Alright, let's go throw it in the truck.
Alright.
Okay, just kidding. I want this to totally function the way it did, and forgot the springs and rods that hook the two sides together. So, luckily I took a picture of them before I took it apart. And I need my needle nose. Alright, time for a test drive. It does rest against the window seal and the window a little bit with the seat all the way back, but we shall see if I can do this one-handed and crush my camera a little bit. Alright, so clicking the handle down there, flips forward just like stock, flips back and locks. Ugh. Factory seat lever, just exactly where it was. Scoots forward, scoots back. Let's go for a ride. Well, what do you think, Bryce?
I like it.
I like it. I feel like we're in the lap of luxury. It's a good fit. Love the flip up armrest. That's what Bruce was really missing, was not having an armrest.
Yeah.
It looks very cush too. Well, let's go for a drive.
this in the back.